Just because Vincent glanced at the other person, the man wielded his notebook as a weapon and fiercely threw it at him. But it didn't end there. The next day at work, colleagues greeted Vincent friendly, only to engage in a physical fight with him the next moment. Disregarding the attempts of others to stop them. Afterwards, both were taken to the police station. However, the colleague claimed to have had a complete blank in their mind at the time and didn't remember anything they did. Seeing that the colleague didn't seem to be lying, Vincent didn't pursue their responsibility, but his kindness didn't bring him any good. The boss found Vincent and, to mitigate the impact, decided to let him work from home. Vincent felt that what had happened in these 2 days was not simple. After investigation, he found out that the two who had harmed him were former classmates. He felt they were intentionally causing trouble. But what happened next shattered Vincent's assumptions. That evening, Vincent went to a bar for a blind date with a girl he had met online, complaining about the recent strange occurrences. Just as they were getting along well, Vincent felt someone staring at him. When he looked over, he saw a homeless man approaching with hollow eyes. Terrified, Vincent hurriedly got up to flee. Luckily, the homeless man, who wasn't watching the road, was hit by a passing car. At this point, Vincent felt things were too eerie to continue the blind date and quickly returned home. The next day, the boss called him, asking him to come to the office to update some software. Riding his bike to the office, he casually glanced at a nearby car. An elderly lady inside smiled and greeted him, but when Vincent looked back again, the lady's eyes turned sharp. A feeling of familiarity made Vincent hastily flee the scene. Turning into a small alley, but in no time, a car followed. Watching the accelerating car, Vincent nervously fell from his bike and quickly hid by the roadside. The next moment, the car rushed past, crushing his bike that had been his companion for half his life. By the way, if you enjoy our movie recaps, we're currently hosting a giveaway for our audience. We're excited to announce that a brand new scooter awaits one lucky subscriber. Don't miss out. Subscribe and follow us to stay tuned for more updates. Vincent began to realize that these events were not so simple, so he started to sort through these strange occurrences happening to him. Eventually, he discovered that the common denominator in all these strange events was eye contact with himself. To confirm his suspicions, Vincent opened the window to find someone to verify. Just then, a man walked out from the opposite floor. Vincent gathered his courage and greeted the man, who simply waved back in response, as if nothing had happened. Just when Vincent started to doubt himself, he failed to see the change in the man's eyes. The man picked up an ashtray and hurled it towards him. Luckily, Vincent pulled the curtain in time and dodged it. Vincent confirmed his suspicions. He couldn't make eye contact with people. He immediately ordered a set of self-defense weapons online. But when Vincent returned home, he encountered 2 children. Subconsciously, he made eye contact with them, and the children rushed towards him. But they were just kids, and Vincent dared not fight back. He seized the opportunity to pin them down, but the kids bit him. Hearing the commotion, the mother rushed over, and Vincent took the chance to retreat back home. The children's mother told her husband about the incident, and soon he and some neighbors arrived at Vincent's house. However, Vincent didn't dare to open the door, fearing eye contact with them, especially since they were still angry. Vincent knew he couldn't stay here any longer. Otherwise, trouble would inevitably arise sooner or later. At night, he packed his things and quietly slipped away when no one was around. He went to a convenience store to buy some bread to satisfy his hunger, but then an old man approached. Vincent stood up to leave, but the old man calmly said there was no need to worry, and that they were going through the same thing. It turned out that the old man had been experiencing the same events as Vincent for the past 7 months, and they weren't the only ones. They had established a website to discuss these occurrences. The old man advised Vincent to get a dog to help him detect anomalies earlier. After leaving his website address and contact information, the old man left. Vincent went to a gas station to refuel his car, preparing to hide in his countryside house for a while. While Vincent was cautiously avoiding the gaze of others, he failed to notice a car approaching behind him. The sound of the door closing startled Vincent, and it resulted in an eye contact. The person in the car grabbed something and rushed towards him. Alerted, Vincent quickly drove away and returned to his hometown. Vincent opened the website the old man had mentioned and registered his account. Following the instructions, he deleted all his social media accounts. Upon entering the website, he found others who had experienced the same as him, and the website even provided various survival skills. So Vincent began living a secluded life, with supplies being delivered by courier. However, troubles persisted. The old house, left unoccupied for a long time, caused the toilet to clog, leading neighbors to come over. Vincent's septic tank was full and leaked into his garden. Vincent chatted with the neighbor absent-mindedly, but accidentally made eye contact with her children, causing her to become irritable. The neighbor thought her little girl were misbehaving, so Vincent hastily sent them away. Later, Vincent went to the septic tank intending to clean it himself, but then the property management came over, claiming that the management fee hadn't been paid. Vincent wanted to leave quickly, but as he turned around, he accidentally made eye contact with him. They ended up wrestling with each other. Overpowered, Vincent was pressed into the cesspit by the property management. In a panic, he felt a stone and hurled it at the property management. Having experienced this ordeal, Vincent felt he still wasn't cautious enough. It was then that he remembered the old man's suggestion. So, he went to a pet store and bought a dog that looked fierce. The dog indeed saved Vincent from a disaster. One day, Vincent was playing with the dog at the beach when a group of people approached from a distance. Before Vincent could react, the dog barked preemptively. When Vincent turned to look, the group of people was walking towards them expressionlessly. Seeing this, Vincent hastily fled the scene. Being cooped up at home every day, Vincent found it too boring. So he went to a restaurant to buy some food he liked, but fearing being attacked, he ordered takeout instead. He planned to grab the food and run. However, when the female waiter, Margot, brought the food out, there was no reaction from her. It was the first time Margot had encountered someone like Vincent, and the single Vincent was captivated by her appearance. Comfortable lives always meet storms. The old man sent Vincent a message saying that the situation was getting worse, and people on the website were preparing to find a shelter to avoid risks and loneliness. Upon hearing this, Vincent decided to finally meet Margot, the one who haunted his dreams, and then go to the shelter. Before Vincent could say anything, Margot hurriedly ducked into her car. It turned out that it was her creditor at the door. Vincent took advantage of the situation and started the car to drive away. But soon, the dog started barking. Vincent turned to look at Margot and saw her staring blankly at him as she lunged towards him. The car began to sway uncontrollably. In panic, Vincent could only knock Margot unconscious. When Margot woke up, she had completely forgotten what had happened. Feeling bewildered in an unfamiliar environment, Margot tried to leave, but found the doors and windows locked. Hearing the commotion, Vincent quickly comforted Margot, telling her that this was his home. He recounted how Margot had attacked him the previous night and confessed her own story to him. Feeling sorry for Margot, Vincent drove her to a supermarket to prove his words through actions. However, Margot still believed she had encountered a psycho and struggled to escape when she got out of the car. Then she was shocked by what she saw in front of her. Fortunately, they managed to escape. Margot finally believed Vincent's words and took him to her small boat parked by the lake, where he could rest for the night. Surprisingly, Margot didn't go mad when she made eye contact with Vincent. That night, the old man called Vincent to say he had recovered from his illness, and that no one was attacking him anymore. Listening to the old man, Vincent remembered his eye contact with Margot. Could it be that the illness was cured? As they prepared to rest, Vincent heard screams outside. Although he didn't know what was happening, he knew they couldn't stay there. He quickly woke up Margot and took her on the boat to the shelter. On the way, they heard continuous broadcasts about violent outbreaks, and the government advised against travel. Soon, Vincent noticed something unusual. People fleeing had blocked the roads. Vincent got out of the car to check and found everyone attacking each other. But no one was attacking him, and the dog didn't give a warning. He realized that his illness had disappeared. He quickly found Margot in the car and helped her cross the roadblock, traverse the forest, and arrive at a farmland. Vincent punched Margot, knocking her down, then pinned her to the ground, clutching her neck. As Margot was about to suffocate, she covered Vincent's eyes. This calmed him down. It turned out that after the outbreak of the illness, Vincent's condition hadn't improved. He had merely transitioned from a victim to an assailant, and as long as his eyes were covered, he wouldn't be affected. To prevent accidents, Margot found a cloth to cover Vincent's eyes. They returned to the previous small boat and started